be by my side with every step, granting me the strength to defeat this disease and the wisdom and the judgment to be the public servant, public steward that I was elected to be. Over the coming months, I'll be receiving multiple very aggressive chemotherapy treatments. Most likely I'm going to lose my hair. You won't have these beautiful gray locks. I may trim down a little bit. But I won't stop working to change Maryland for the better. I'll be working hard and making the decisions that the people of this state elected me to make. The fact is that I'm just like the more than 70,000 people diagnosed with lymphoma every single year who fight it, beat it, and continue doing their jobs at the same time. With my faith, my family, and my friends, I know that I won't just beat this disease, but that I'll be a better and stronger person and governor when we get to the other side of it. So I thank you for being here, and I'd be happy to answer anybody's questions.
Governor Connally and Reagan here, are your doctors Republicans?
That's a great question, and I asked the same question the other day joking. You know, this has all come up pretty quickly, and just last week, it was a shocking news to me, but I had gotten these MRIs that showed this cancer kind of spread throughout my body. I had 3 different doctors who I just met for the first time that day, and they spent a couple of hours with me, and I said that to them, and the guy said, "We're all huge fans, Governor. We think you're doing a great job." They wouldn't tell me if they were Republicans or Democrats, but they did say they were supporters anyway. But that doesn't really matter to me. I just know I'm trying to get the best help we can get. I've got a tremendous group of the best professionals we can find, and they seem to have a good idea of a plan of attack, and we're going to aggressively go after it.
How are you feeling now, Governor? How are you feeling?
You know, I actually feel pretty good. Although I've been having procedures every day. You know, there was a story in the Post on Saturday saying I was under the weather and not feeling well, and they thought maybe I caught a bug on my trip. Actually, I've been feeling fine. And I did about half of my schedule over the past 2 weeks, but I missed things because they were sending me for required things. I had to go do a CAT scan, a PET scan, a MRI. I had a minor surgery last week. They did a biopsy and removed a lymph node from under my arm, so they had to put me to sleep, and it was, you know, it wasn't a big deal. But today I had a bone marrow thing where they actually stuck a 12-inch thing into my hip and poured out some bone marrow. So that hurt a little bit. And I'm actually taking some painkillers, and the doctor said, "I wouldn't advise you to make any serious decisions, or I think you'll just rest up and stay home." And I go, "Well, I'm doing a press conference at 4 o'clock. And they go, "That's a really bad idea." But I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, this stuff is, you know, it's kind of spread. I've got a lot of them in my abdomen. It's pressing up against my spinal column. It's difficult to eat because I'm kind of full with, but I'm not terribly sick. You know, it's just something I've got to go after before it gets worse.
Governor, could you, for people who are anxious about this illness and not familiar with it, could you characterize how you became aware of this?
Yeah.
What some of the symptoms were?
Yeah, well, it was very strange, and I think this is typical of this particular disease. It just sneaks up on you. You don't have a lot of symptoms ahead of time. I'll tell you my story as succinctly as possible. Had no symptoms whatsoever. Felt great. We were on a trade mission. We did 50 or 60 meetings in 3 countries in 12 days. I mean, I was working 15 hours a day. We were on a 12-hour flight with a 12-hour time difference, and people couldn't believe the energy I had. I didn't feel sick at all. But the day before we left, I was shaving, and I felt a big lump in my neck. Didn't hurt at all. It's like a golf ball here. You can probably see it. And I was like, that's a very strange thing, some kind of a cyst or a bump or something. So I went to see my primary care physician when I got back. Primary care physician sent me to get an ultrasound, who then sent me to an ENT guy, ear, nose, and throat doctor who said, I want you to get some MRIs and some CAT scans, which they did, and then they found 12 more of these things in my neck and chest and said we want to do a full MRI. They found 20 or 30 more in my core area, in my groin area, and you know, it was one test after another after another. It was like peeling an onion. Let's send you for this test. Oh, that's bad. Let's send you for this test. That doesn't look so good. Let's send you for this test. It's even worse than we thought. But I didn't really have any symptoms. I saw one thing pop out. I had a little bit of pain in my back, which I thought was like a pulled muscle. It turns out it was a tumor pressing up against or still is, pressing up against my nerves, and that was causing the pain. But, you know, I still feel good. I got energy, and other than I don't have much of an appetite, I'm not tired, and I'm not in terrible pain.
Governor, do you know what stage it is and how long the treatment takes?
And what stage and how long will it take? On the stage, we're not quite sure yet. Some of the tests I did today will probably give us that answer. And by the way, I'm working with a team of doctors from Anne Arundel Medical Center and Johns Hopkins and University of Maryland Medical System. I meet with another one tomorrow that's going to be a second or third opinion and review of all these tests that I've done. It's at least very advanced stage 3, if not stage 4. And we'll find out the details of that probably this week. As far as the treatment, I want to be, and they want to be as aggressive as possible. And because of the fast-growing nature of this thing, we can't waste any time. We can't wait. So they want to immediately start chemotherapy treatment, and they want to go as aggressively as possible. So as I understand it, they try to give you as much as you can possibly take without killing you. They want to kill the cancer and keep you alive. So I believe the plan is they're going to put me in a hospital for 4 days and shoot me with chemotherapy for 24 hours a day in intensive care, and then start a 6-round process where they zap you for a day, and then they let you rest up for a few weeks, and then they zap you again, and altogether it's about an 18-week process. And all of the experts tell me that they believe that I'll come out of that completely clear. They also tell me it's going to beat the hell out of me. So, you know, honestly, they say you're going to go through hell and back again, but you're going to love it when you get back, and the results are going to be good. So, you know, it's not going to be an easy thing, and I'm going to miss a few Board of Public Works, and I'm going to miss a few meetings, but I'm still going to be constantly involved. I mean, there's probably 2-3 days every month or every 3 weeks that I'm not going to be feeling so well, probably, and we'll see how that goes. But the rest of the time, I'll be working. Anybody else? Yeah.
How will the Lieutenant Governor's role change?
Well, the Lieutenant Governor, the role has changed ever since he's been elected Lieutenant Governor, and we keep piling more and more work on him. I think he's got more responsibility now than any Lieutenant Governor in history, but I think, you know, Boyd has my back. There's no question about that. He's the most capable guy to ever serve as Lieutenant Governor. He is going to step up and do even more, I guess. He's going to fill in more at the Board of Public Works. He's going to have to fill in for me on some other meetings, as will our entire cabinet. They're going to step up and do more things and fill in when I can't be there. If I am in a situation where they put me to sleep, which they did last week, and you know, the Lieutenant Governor was ready and prepared to sign documents and make decisions and if I wasn't able to. Luckily, there was no major decision during that 1 hour I was asleep. So, Lieutenant Governor he didn't make any crazy decisions, but he has my utmost confidence.
It is your plan to remain governor throughout?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, you know, it's a tough time to go through, and I'm going to miss a few meetings, but, you know, I'm going to have every capacity to make decisions. I'll be at a lot of meetings. You'll still see me at events. I'll be still working most of the time, and, you know, my residence across the street is 100 yards away, and what's been happening, even with my treatment in the past 10 days, they're shuffling piles of documents back and forth like every hour. I mean, I say to the state troopers, are you kidding me? Another pile of homework? So I'm making decisions and getting things done even when I'm not here. I don't see any reason why we're not going to keep, look, some people would say, some people think I'm crazy the kind of hours I put in. You know, I'm a workaholic, and people around here know it. We work people to death. We go 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. You know, I would venture to say, some people have said we got more done in 5 months, which, by the way, today is 5 months since I've been governor. We got quite a few things done. Yeah, I think even if I were to work half-time, it would be twice as much as any other governor's worked.
Governor, talking about that workload, you went through a grueling campaign as well, less than a year ago.
Yeah.
Did your doctors give you any indication of if that contributed to any of this?
No, I mean, they really, they haven't given me any indication as to how it happened, when it started, or what contributed to it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't take a day off for a year and a half, so, I mean, I'm sure stress and hard work exacerbates problems, but it didn't cause the situation. It was, this is something that just, it doesn't seem to have been around for a long time. It just hit me, you know, in a very short period of time.
Governor, we're all obviously concerned about you personally, but I think it's fair to say as this unfolds, there'll be some commentary about access to health care and other things like that.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you might want to offer some thoughts right now about the value of access to health care and how this might reflect on that larger debate in our country and our state.
Well, I mean, on the pain medications I'm on today, I'm probably not going to get into a detailed debate about the entire healthcare system, but I mean, access to healthcare is critically important. I'm lucky enough to have access to the best healthcare, and not everybody is, and it's an issue that you know, we've got our great health secretary here with us today, and we're making tremendous progress, and it's an issue we're still waiting to hear, you know, what happens nationwide with respect to healthcare and how we're going to provide it. But I would hate to be someone without access to health care, without access to insurance, to get the kind of news that I got last week.
Last question.
Governor, are there any circumstances under which you could see the lieutenant governor taking over being long-term? I mean, is there a threshold you feel like, you know, or any circumstances where you feel like this is the point where I would want him to take over for a long period of time?
I mean, if I died, I would say he probably is going to take over. I mean, it's hard to foresee unless I'm completely incapacitated and, you know, unconscious and unable to make decisions. Then I'm sure that would take place. But I don't foresee that happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.